And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Welcome, everyone, to the afternoon session of Make HOAG Money for Wednesday, March the 1st. Almost through with winter already. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started here. This is me. I've been around for a little while. The CFTC disclaimer. We are trading a live account. We are not suggesting that anybody take these trades. You guys are suggesting these trades for me. But Forex does have substantial risk. These are leveraged products, and you do stand the risk of losing more than your initial investment. We're not suggesting that there will be positive or negative performance today. Either way is fine. We're going to be looking to see what kind of trades you guys are going to come up with today. The rules for Make HOAG Money. Kindness and respect are expected above everything. There's always differences of opinion in markets. It's what makes them so good. We're going to have a couple of people unable to speak, should they choose to. I'm not going to force anybody, but we're all going to be involved in the decision-making. Context of your trades is going to be very helpful. We're going to use the chat rooms in YouTube and Zoom to discuss trades. Only those in Zoom will be able to vote. Focusing on the MES for opportunities. We're not going to trade just to trade. We're not going to be taking losing trades, which is, of course, an old joke by now, but we know that there are going to be losses in trading. We have to accept them, cut them, and move on. And feedback for Make HOAG Money is always helpful and appreciated. Here is our platform. Where are we? Well, we've been talking about for the last few sessions, the monthly chart, February's low. We did look below it. Have we accepted? I'm going with no, we have not. So we're looking, I think, at an opportunity for us today to perhaps look for a long. Now, we just possibly missed our best trade location. I don't know what's going to happen. Does anybody know? Who wants to talk? Who wants to do something today? What are we looking at? Let's get into this. I see we've got a couple of folks here saying hello. Live healthy. Good afternoon on YouTube. Marcelo, J-Man, Mike. Joe, it is good to see you. Every day is precious, 100%. Good afternoon, Ben. You want to chat today? That'd be great. Keith, how you doing? You want to chat? Bradley, anybody wants to talk? Let me know. And what are we doing? Are we just going to close our eyes and buy? Keith, promoting you to panelist, you'll be able to speak. We'll see what Keith's got in mind here. Frankfurt, Gear. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us all the way from Frankfurt. Ben?
Okay, now I'm on.
What's up, Keith?
Well, it looks like you might want to buy, but I'm going to look at it and take a short and see if they spike down below.
Okay. Why? Are you looking at that delta?
Well, it seems to be reading. It's been positive, and all day it's continued to go down. And I'm gonna play it out that the rest of the day it might go down lower.
Okay. So
in reality, I'm at my max earnings today, so I'm not trading anything.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Good disclosure there. What would you do if you were looking for a short? Would you short it here, or are you looking to see some?
Pretty close. I'm pretty close to right now would be okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go much higher. I think I would take it about Yeah, do it. Take the short at 54.
Really?
Yep.
Now we've rejected below last month's low twice.
I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do what I don't think.
Yeah. Well, let's vote. We're looking at taking a short up here around 54. See if we like that idea. Keith, I've got to allow you to be able to vote. I know this is your idea, so of course you would be voting yes. Yours Norwegian, by the way, Norwegian. I had been told I am part Norwegian, but I found out through ancestry that I'm not. I'm kind of bummed. I kind of liked being Norwegian. John Wilkowiak. Good to see you, John. Hey, I'm glad it made you money. That's good. Now I got to make me some money. Gear says he thinks the close is going to rally. We've got a consensus here of 73% don't like the trade, Keith. We can't take it.
Well, that's good. That's probably going to work then.
Right? So what do we look to do? Do we look for a long? I got Ben here. He's here to speak also. How you doing, Ben? Maybe he doesn't want to speak. You got to turn your mic off if you want to speak. Oh, it was gold. Nice.
Hello. Sorry, I didn't realize I had the mic muted there.
That's all right. Wes likes the short. What are you thinking? Wes, Keith, Wes, if we were to take that short, where's our risk?
That's a good question.
It depends on what you're going for.
Well, Keith was looking for a short up here around 54.
Well, a couple things that jump out at me is we've got value markedly lower today. We've been one time framing down up until this TPO. We got a couple distributions. However, we have some real good excess on the bottom. And when it tried to take some back in K period, it was rejected. And we got a VPO or a volume point of control up higher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little, of course, that's per usual mixed information. I think if you were going to short here, and I actually was long in the last TPO and it was painfully slow, and I finally got some, and then I shorted the intraday value area low for all those reasons I was just saying, but only for like a point and a half or something, So I don't know, that short may work, but look at the prior TPO low. I mean, it really rocketed out of there towards the end out of the lows. And then the new TPO just tested down. I hate that word. Just tracked down a little bit. Then it's been trying to grind to the upside since.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of a wait a few minutes, maybe for a new 15-minute bar or something like that. I will say though that 39.50 is the open of K, the open of L period.
Mm-hmm.
It's the I've got kind of a spring trade, if you will, where you might want to try along at 39.50 quarter, or it's the open of the 15-minute bar. It's also the open of this 30-minute bar.
Uh-huh. You can see that right here.
A lot of times you get a spring, but you got to be mindful. It's like, well, what are you going for? Not going for it to roll over the top, necessarily.
It's the close of this bar, the open and the close of this bar, and the open of this bar.
That's correct. Yeah. And if it rolls over to the downside, you don't really have to risk much.
Right.
You can just risk the bottom of the L period, or there's a little divot there in volume on the day's profile from about 48.5 down to 47, so you could risk below that that volume shoulder. So
do we look for this long down here where Ben is talking about here, down around 50? You got a lot of folks saying yes. We got Greg in here. We're gonna have a lot of folks chatting today. Joe, I put the link in to get into the Zoom meeting for you. Anne Marie likes that too. Hey, Anne Marie, how are you? All right, we're gonna see if we can't get in here around. You said 50 quarter, but I think we're gonna be a little bit,
Yeah. A little higher.
a little bit higher than that now.
I was gonna actually share a screen. I use a volume profile on 10-minute bars, and you know, it behaves. It's fractal, right? So
Hope we didn't miss it.
Yeah, I think we might have missed it.
Yeah,
But I would, I'd maybe look at just again the way we're trading. Maybe trade a short from the overnight low.
overnight low.
30,
Where is that? Where is that? 39. Okay, so we're up here. Oh
Yeah,
wait.
or even 55, somewhere between 55 and 56.
Swing times, niggas is peeling off, and I even looking to grab a board.
Where is that overnight low?
I've got it at 39.56.
Right here, 39.56.
I'm going to put one on at 59, maybe one just inside it, just to average in case it pops through there. Myself.
I like the long too.
Hey Greg, how are you?
How you doing, Mr. Hoag?
I'm
Good day, everyone.
doing well. Yeah, I'm long personally, just because this low, the February low, is so important to me. Just the
It's
way.
very strong. It's
Yeah.
very strong. Very strong. And we had a reversal on a 30-minute. Look at the tail from 11 o'clock today. That's huge rejection. Then we came back down again at 14. That's 2:30. Another sign of rejection. So, and it goes back to what you said earlier with the monthly lows. And I have a weekly profile low level at 39.53. That takes all the bars from last week, averages out. So I have 39.53, and that's in line with your monthly lows from market prep. So I support this low. So I'm going along with you.
Okay, all right.
I filled short one at 55.5.
Clear as mud. We've got 67% like the idea of this trade, so we're going to let it sit in there for a little while and see what happens. Anne Marie is saying, there's a lot of traders are leaning on that level, looking for a bounce. A lot of sellers above, but what kind of quality sellers are there? That's really my question. And I know Jim Dalton was talking Sunday about he thinks if we can hold that February low, that we got a lot of short time frame traders stuck short here. We've got a weak high here, we got a weak high here, and we got a weak high here. We got lots of consecutive unfinished upside auctions above, indicating this move to the downside is more likely shorter time frame, weaker hands traders. Not necessarily P shooters like me, but weaker hands. Some swing traders, speculators, not the investor grade type traders. Amol, hey, first day in your funded account, congratulations. A little long at 50 right now, looking good. Dr. VJ was short, took $100.
Would the TP levels be 58.62? How that look on your chart, Mr. Hoag?
I'm sorry?
How would the TP levels take profits? 39.58, 39.62?
No, I'm a little more aggressive than that. If we're gonna reject down here, I'd like to see us pull a lot higher up. We're still not in
65.
this. I'm going 70, 72, value high.
Okay.
Value high.
Value high from today.
But I'm kind of aggressive that way.
No, I understand.
If we're gonna reject, I'd like us to really reject.
Okay.
I like Anne Marie is saying, yeah, this is really clear as mud, right?
All right, I'm out for 2 points.
Nice.
I shorted 55 half, and it never got my second one at like 57-ish, but
Nice.
So quick question, Hope. As we progressing through the price action, we're closing above the value area low. So when we're in a long trade, if we see price respects that level, it's safe to stay in.
We rejected below the monthly low before. You just pointed
Correct.
out we rejected below the monthly low again.
Correct.
So if I'm long and the next 30-minute bar closes inside value, I'm going to view that as a reacceptance of the daytime frame value.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm not. I know it's tricky to say yes, but it's more so on like the trade leaning in a positive favor. That makes sense. Because every level is very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just from a candlestick perspective, look, the 30-minute 230 bar, that looks positive. Sellers came in, we closed over. Buyers came in and closed over. Would we look at it as a positive?
You're looking at the 230 Eastern, right? 130 here.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's a doji. It's indecision.
But we closed over it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We got the close from this bar, the open and close here, and the open of this bar. That's Ben's spring trade there. We kind of missed that, but we are not long or short anything here yet, Rue. We voted we're going to take a look at a potential long down here around 51 below value. If we get it, we're trying to be patient and get good trade location here. Joe, I see you're in Zoom now. Did you want to talk, Joe? Our friend Joe Drinnen is back with us. Haven't seen him for a while. Great to see everybody. It's good to see Anne Marie with us. Got an old floors friend down here talking in YouTube, John Wilkowiak. All right, Joe, hang on a second here. It's good to have Joe back. All right, Joe. You're alive. You're also muted.
There.
Hey.
Been so long I forgot how to do this.
It's okay. It's great to hear your voice, Joe.
Anyway, I determined I'm only trading one side or the other sometime in the first hour. The IB has something to do with that. But I only trade one way. So I determined today that it was probably going to be a swing day, which it has been, and I'm only going to take shorts only because of the long-term context. So in my trading style, I'm probably going to miss a long here, but I'm not going to take a long because I'm only going to take shorts. And the other side of that, there's no way I'm taking a short down here.
No.
Because we're near the tail of the daily profile.
Sure.
I'm not. We've had plenty of chances to reach lower today than we already have. So I'm not gonna short down here because of that. So I'm in a no trade kind of posture here right now. And the other thing is that just about right here, 57.5 or whatever, you got a big thin spot which tends to act as resistance.
Sure.
So we might have reached target already. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth.
Well, Joe, you sound great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've been doing everything that they've asked me to do, and I am getting stronger every day.
Good.
Thank you.
They did not take your accent away from you.
Aha. I will be leaving a little early, but
That's
anyway,
okay.
that's my 2 cents worth. Yep.
Anne Marie likes this analysis. She says, thank you. I don't know if Anne Marie was here the other day. Joe, you had a little bit of a hiccup, didn't you? You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, New Year's Day, I had a Widowmaker heart attack, and I called 911, and thank God I'm 10 minutes from the hospital. They got me in the ER and took a blood test, and sure enough, I had a heart attack. I didn't believe it because I don't know what a heart attack is, but I know now. And yeah, the symptoms were hot poker in the chest, contraction in my scalp, my jaw, my esophagus, and tingling in both arms from the elbow down. And so I had a heart attack, and they got me into surgery that afternoon, a few hours later. And it's normally a 5-hour operation, but mine was 7 because they put more bypasses in than the Widowmaker. So I had a quintuple bypass surgery, and I'm in my today's the anniversary of the 2nd month, and I'm getting stronger, and I can walk 0.6 miles now, which is a big milestone for me. When I used to walk 2.5, 3 miles a day, and so it takes a while to get your aerobic capacity back and your muscles going and so forth.
Sure.
They tell me that it takes about 6 months before you're totally normal, but at 3 months you're pretty functional. I'm driving now, and
well, that's good.
And I'm taking it easy, but concentration is not what it should be, and so therefore I'm only paper trading.
Good.
Took three trades today, 3 shorts, which is good. That's constructive because I'm experimenting with my stops. Instead of putting stops at the next swing, high or low, I'm trying an ATR, a 5-minute ATR.
Okay.
And things like that. So it's I'm making use of it, but I don't have the concentration to put something on live. So
well, Joe,
anyway,
there's one thing that your doctors said to you that I really kind of disagree with. Do they know you're a trader because you're never going to be normal?
Oh, I know. I keep that a secret. I don't tell them I'm a trader because I know what they're going to say.
Trading, mild on your heart. Trading.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I'm back and really enjoy Make HOAG Money, and glad to see Anne Marie's been here the last couple of days. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Even though we have a different style of trading, I always get a lot out of her presence.
Well, that's one of the things about trading is that difference of opinion is what creates our opportunities, right?
Well, I think you have to develop your own style.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, I'm just glad you're back, Joe.
Thank you.
So we are still sitting here waiting to get this long. If we can get it, we can get it. If not, I'm long a little bit lower. I'm not really going to be risking much on this. I sense what Anne Marie is sensing, and I think what Joe you're sensing. There's a lot of folks leaning on this level down here, and they may go hunting for the stops down below. We've got positive delta all day long. We are at the low end of the profile, low end of the range. We have some longer time frame sellers in this market. Is that what that's telling us?
And right now we're at the developing point of control of the day at 53 and a quarter. Well, I wouldn't be shorting below that.
No, it's kind of a rule of mine. I can't sell below value unless there's some sort of range extension that changes things.
Question while we're waiting, Lou.
Pardon?
Were you a local were you filling orders for customers and clients?
I did both. But I was a filling broker in the S&Ps for a long time, which legally meant I couldn't trade it. But there's an error once in a while, and
Yeah.
I was sending orders via text to a friend of mine who was in the NASDAQ back when all you had to do was wait for a break and buy in the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
It was the tech bubble.
So local trades for their own account, right?
Correct. We have John Wilkowiak, who was in the S&P pit, a local trader and a very good trader as well.
Yeah. And from what I understand, 20% of the traders, they all have the same jackets, but it was probably only 20% of them that were locals. Everyone else was order fillers, right?
Well,
Which is a skill of its own.
Oh yeah, I don't think I could do it now.
Yeah.
So.
Did you have trouble transitioning to the screen?
Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's something I've been giving a lot of thought to. There were a lot of traders or a lot of locals that tried long before I did. And John, you'll probably have, something to add to this. I think most of the traders that tried to become screen traders without the arb between the pit and the minis failed because they did. I don't think that they gave it the respect that it needed. It is a learning process. I took a year before I took a trade just on screen.
Yeah.
So here's the S&P pit. I'm going to put this up here. We're long now at 51. I just want to put this up here for Joe. This is the S&P pit right around 1987, just before the crash. So all of the people around the very edge, not the gold coats, those were clerks. The people in the red and blue coats on the inside, those were the brokers. Everybody else in this pit inside of the brokers was a local trading for their own money or proprietary money.
Yeah.
So there was, I would have to say it was probably 80-20 locals in the pit more than brokers.
Yeah. And I understand that the people that had the difficulty in transitioning were mostly the order fillers, whereas the locals had more of a feel because they're trading for their own account.
Well, I had a lot of friends who were locals that stepped out of the pit and tried to just trade on screen. First thing they did was they over leveraged. They did not size down.
Yeah.
They weren't going to get the same edges that they were able to get in the trading pit, and I don't think that they recognized that. And if they were still on the floor and there was paper coming in, you could respond to that paper. But if you were off the floor, you don't hear anything, you don't see anything. It's just you and your platform, and I found that to be very challenging. And I had to really take my time and seek different ways to recognize when longer, stronger traders were in the markets, when they were active.
Did you just discover the profile once you started on the screen?
No, I discovered the profile when I was when I was trading as a proprietary trader. I wasn't very good at it, but I survived for a while, and then started to learn a little bit more about it, and then started filling orders because I'd had kids, and that was just a kind of a more stable environment, I guess you could say, to to being just a local and being at the whim of the markets. I'm trying to find something here. Johnny was in there. John Wilkowiak, who's in the Zoom meeting on the actually on YouTube. He was a better trader than me for sure.
And he was a local?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what about some of the Top Step guys?
Michael was a local. He was a local in the he was a local in the Dow.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny. There's my guy John Wilkowiak.
Now, was there a pecking order in terms of you were local, you had a higher status, or versus the order fillers? Was that you were all kind of equal?
Well, the locals really depended on the order fillers. You know, if you had a friend that was an order filler, there was an advantage to that.
Okay.
You know, which wasn't really legal, but prove it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
John, I think was he was a good trader on his own right. He didn't need anybody feeding him. No, John was. I always thought John was a really good trader.
Yeah.
He had much more intestinal fortitude than I did.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sign off, John. It's great to be back. I'm going to have a beer with some friends. And one thing I have learned through this whole thing, and that friends and family mean everything. And without their support, it would have been much more difficult. So I've made a pledge that from here on out, I'm going to make even more contact and tell a lot more people that I love them than I did before. So with that, I'm signing out.
Well,
and I'll see you I'll see you tomorrow.
Joe, you got a whole bunch of friends here. We love you too. Thank you for coming back to us and reminding us all about how important all of this stuff is. Sometimes we lose sight of that, and we really appreciate that, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
Talk to you soon. Blessings. All right. I find myself wondering if John Wilkowiak is still here and saw his picture up here. He hasn't said anything. My target for the long,
57.
Yeah, that was your idea right here at the high of these bars right here. Joe was also talking about the idea that this is some low volume here that should be somewhat resistant.
Well, follow the principle too of first exit, inflection point. The IDVA low was too close, but the overnight low, we've come close to it. So the next thing would be possibly either counting where the TPOs are wide or one of the highs, like the I and J high.
Right up here, right? That's what I was looking at.
We get a reaction there usually, unless we start getting massive short covering in the next 10 minutes. Might happen. But, what's wrong with 5 or 6 points,
Not a thing. Not a
You know, we
thing.
go for really long runs and we don't get them, it comes back at us. We're stopped out for 3 to 5 points anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think we do better psychologically to take a few.
Well, and it's late in the day, and I'm gonna be, I don't want to take any big loss, so
Right.
we're just going to take this here.
Cut bait right now even.
We did.
Fine.
We did.
You get another 2 points and make up for it if it goes to 57.
Yep.
That's just how I roll, you know.
Well, we made a little bit on that, so we'll see what happens next.
So, Dr. Vijay, hang on a minute. Scroll up here. He's in the Zoom chat. Just a minute. Dr.
VJ?
Yeah, Dr. VJ. So he shorted with me. He got in a little better price at 56, and I was short 55 half under the overnight low a while back. And I saw they took off. He said made $100, and that's great. And I had to wait a little longer to get the same 2 points. But he came in later and said, we left a lot on the table. But at that point, when I was kind of hanging on for the next couple ticks, that's costing me stress,
Mm-hmm.
So even though there was another point on that, I mean, it did come back up. I think it came down one further, but like when there was like three and a quarter points in that, but I was happy with 2, and you know what? I could just sit back and relax and listen to Joe talk or,
Mm-hmm.
something else. And I don't know. I mean, I struggle to stay in a trade a super long time because it just, I just from experience, I guess so many times it just comes back at me to my interest point or worse.
Sure.
And after I've been in a trade that long, I don't want to get out break even.
And nothing against anybody that has the feeling like they've left something on the table.
Right.
That's a slippery slope.
What's that?
That's a slippery slope.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I am, maybe one of my weaknesses is getting out a little early, but one of my strengths is I don't fret about that. It's like, you know what? I could shut the computer off, come back and find out it went out when another 20 handles.
Right. Right.
That bums me out, but I didn't see it at the time. And at that point,
Well,
I don't.
And if
I
it's
live alone, and nobody's gonna pull me off the floor if I have a heart attack either.
well, if it's not part of the plan, if your plan is to take 3 points on the trade, you take the 3 points on the trade. Anything that happens after that is a new opportunity.
Maybe it's just where I've come from in life, and from selling True Grit as a kid and work as a busboy at 14 or whatever, just to make a buck. I mean, I remember making $3.35 an hour. So for me to make $50 in 2 seconds, I haven't lost the value of that.
No, right?
Still, hey, that's how many people are. I go to a Starbucks near here, and there's a guy that goes there every day, and I know he doesn't always eat. Apparently he's had some marital issues or whatnot. And I see him buying like real meager little scraps of stuff to, cheap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably gonna find a job. It'll probably be something hourly or whatever, and I just try to market against that. And I've worked commission and salary and all that stuff, so I know what it's like to make really good money as well. But I've just never lost that value of like, gosh, I'm up a couple $100. It's only 10 in the morning. It's like that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I don't have a family of 4 to feed either, and a wife that likes luxury items.
Well, but
so.
that's trading maybe will take you to that level at some point. Just maintaining an account for a long period of time is something that most traders never get to do. You stay in an account for a long time, building it slowly, being disciplined, managing your risk. You're buying time to get better at what you're doing, not only knowing more about markets and how they work, about how you work, about how your mind works. And nobody I don't think becomes a millionaire trader in 6 weeks. If they do, they're dumb. They're darn lucky, and they should take that money and run because the market's coming for it.
Yeah, in 8 weeks they'll be broke.
Right. Right. So, it's something that it's a lifelong opportunity to continue to learn and grow. It's, can we get to that point? Yes. How do we get to that point? It's the homework. It's the review. It's the constant working on thyself that seems to be the most important. We know what we know about markets. What do we know about ourselves? Are we going to accept the change of success? Some people have a hard time with that. Change is difficult. If I become successful at this, what does that mean to my life and other people in my life? I've seen a lot of people make a lot of money and turn into absolute freaks. That they think everybody wants something from them, and that's something that I've had to deal with in becoming a better trader, is accepting the fact that things are going to change. I mean, what is trading? It's profiting from changes in price. There's going to be a lot of changes. You got to want them. You got to need them. You got to feel them. They got to be in every cell in your body is to want that change, because otherwise people will do anything they can to avoid that change. Nobody likes change for the worse. That's obvious. People are still afraid of change for the better.
That's a good word.
I was in Vegas last week. My wife told me to put money on her lucky numbers in roulette, 8 and 13. I had never played roulette in my life. I walk up and there's a couple people there. I'm like, how does this work? What do I do? They're like, well, you got to put money on a number and it goes. And I said, I get that. So I go to the dealer. I get $40. He gives me $40 in chips. I put 20 on 13 and 20 on 8. Everybody's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, my wife told me to put, these are her lucky numbers. She told me to put them on there. So a bunch of other people started putting money on 8 and 13 as well. Well, I'm talking to a friend of mine, talking to some people at the table. The dealer says, okay, no more bets. He spins the ball. The ball falls. I'm not even paying attention. I look at the dealer. He's looking at the wheel. He looks at the table, looks at me and goes, 13. I'm like, really? Oh, that's cool. What does that mean? He says, you don't know what that means? I said, well, I know I won, but I don't know how much. On a $20 bet, that's $720. So he says, do you want to continue playing? I said, no. I gave him $20 tip and I walked away.
Nice.
That was just dumb luck.
A good day.
It was dumb luck. So I actually came home with more than I went to Vegas with. That I don't think that ever happens.
Well, I see a potential trade coming on.
Here we are. We're up in our level here. What are we thinking?
Oh, are you talking about? Okay, we're out, right, in the room. We're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was looking at well, I didn't quite get there. 58.5, but then there's the I and J high above that, and I can see it either matching or just taking them out by a tick or two.
Filling up this hole a little bit here.
Yeah, and we could be hide out above the hole. I mean, we could start to get a late afternoon short covering rally from this move down for the second half of the day. Where it takes back H period and G period, but the volume point of control now has moved down to 55. So I can see and I have another reason on a different chart. I don't know if we want to just vote on taking, or I can show you what I'm talking about. It looks like we got a VWAP of some sort at 59.5.
Probably anchored.
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm looking on a chart.
Yeah, because we had 39.63 as a VWAP on the session.
I just put an order at 59.5.
Getting short?
Yeah, okay, I just got filled.
So did we.
But there was a little momentum.
Where's our stop?
I have mine at 62.25.
Halfback's 59.75.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just filling in this hole. Low volume up here. It looks all right. What's our target?
59. I'm going for just 2 points here. I know you don't like that, but we could get another move up. There's a couple things I'm looking at shorter time frame that that might be a reaction area. So I'm just going for 57.5 on a one lot.
Well, we're gonna go with you.
All right.
I know we didn't vote on this, but we'll just give it a shot here.
Vote on 3 points or 10 points.
Oh, for profit?
Yeah.
VJ took a point and got out.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, I hate that it's that. It is just one of those iffy things. So now we're back above the entry price, and it could start like short covering up. That could have been all the take back.
And all the bounce we got. So do we just get out? Let's see.
I'm gonna hang in.
Let's see if we fish or cut bait. Fish or cut bait. Should be out there. There we go. It's funny. I can watch this, and as price goes against us, it's cut bait. As price goes with us, it's fish. Alessandro doesn't understand the reason for this trade. Ben, you want to tell him?
Well, it kind of jerked my emotions here going against me like that. Can I tell him in a minute?
Yeah, of course.
Shot to get out here in a second.
There's the results. 50-50.
It's kind of funny. Okay, I got my 2 points.
Me too.
All right.
Nice work. Okay. Do you want to share so you can show Alessandro what you're looking at?
Let's see what we can do here. So let's see, where's share? There's going to be a couple different concepts going in here, but the main one is the market profile. Okay. So let's see, screen one, share. Let me know when you got it.
We have got it.
Okay, so one reason is, now this is something I've shared before. This is a 15-minute candle chart. These are two different kinds of RSIs. At the time when we were moving up to and this is the Donchian channel, all right? You got a 20, let me check it. I think it's 20. Yeah, 20 period Donchian channel. And this median line is very often a reversion area where it get a reaction from. Now, based on potential for short covering, the time of day, the context, everything, I recognize it's a little more risky. We could start seeing a move up, right? But I was going for, and that was at the time, was 58 quarter. And I knew a lot of times it goes through a little bit. I was looking at 58 half was where I shorted. Or no, wait. Where did I short? Where did we short? 59.50.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. 59.50. That went through there a little bit. And one reason I did that is because looking at the market profile, let me take this off. Okay, these highs. So this is important in a phenomenon that happens again in. So you got H, the green letter is the open period, so it drove down, right? And you got to realize from G period, we're one time framing now in H to the downside, right? And then I period opens up in the lower quarter of H. So that's another distribution. Maybe not in the overall day, but like if you split off where there's been a change because we're going up, now we're moving down. Then J didn't take out the I high and it drove down. Then K opened up down here in the lower quarter of, or eighth even of J, and it went down. Then we started having to move to the upside. Well, very often what'll happen when you have these like one tick from each other TPOs, or a swing high even, the market will come up to it in the next 30-minute period, and there'll be a reaction there, or it'll go one tick, and that's a breakout. And if it doesn't go any further than that, that's a breakout failure. So there's a short there, right? So I was looking at 59.5 for there to be, because when there's one, it's going to go to the next one and then maybe the next one. And we were either going to get a little pop up here, just like what we're seeing in M period, or we were going to see a failure. So we saw the failure, but it didn't quite get to my target here. You know, it came down a bit. Somebody took a point, and then it shot back up. But because we look at the profile, I'm not sure if I'm making a lot of sense here, but let me pull in this profile is in ones, okay?
Can I ask you a question for somebody in the room here? Caesar's asking, does this classify as a scalp, the trade we just took?
I don't think so. 2 points. 2 points is $100 on a lot. You take a 2 lot, that's $200. I mean, is that a scalp? Was that a scalp on the floor?
I guess it depends on your time frame. To me, that was a scalp. On the floor, buying 10s and selling 15s, or buying 10s and selling 20s was a scalp.
The reason I don't like the word scalp, and I've said it before, I just think it's demeaning to the amount of effort and work it goes into even making 1 to 2 points. You know, it's not easy. If everybody could just make 1 or 2 points all day long, they'd make a ton of money and just scale up, you know? So are they scalping for riches? I don't think so. I think there's a lot more work involved. There's a lot times more in the trade than what you took. But just because you only made a point or two, a scalping just cheapens it. That's almost just like you just took a swipe at it and you made some money real quick. It's just not that easy, you know, in my opinion. Now, if you want to minimize, like, okay, anything under $500 is a scalp. Okay, well, what isn't a scalp though? You know, are you making $10,000 a day trading 1, 2 lots?
Well, it's subjective. It's what you think, right?
I just don't like the word because from what I understand on the floor, it was, you know, kind of an arbitrage thing, or just you making money between the bid and the ask.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And if you think about the scalp, when if we go back to Indians or Native Americans or indigenous peoples, whatever you prefer, right? One of their methods in warfare was scalping people. We just took the top of their head off.
Ouch.
You scalped them. You're taking you think of like the top of a latte or something, the cream on top, you know, you're skimming, you call it a skim. I don't know. I don't call it a scalp. I mean, at one point it didn't feel like a lot sometimes, but it adds up. And sometimes, like that trade, there was more in it because it's gone down to, M period's gone down to 56 quarter. And I'm looking at 10-minute bars here. It's come down off the highs there. It's down to 56 quarter. And there was more points probably in the trade if you want to hang in there.
I'm with you. I don't really like the word scalp, but maybe we call it a short-term trade or a fast trade.
I mean, you might be scalping for time. Like if you want to get out quick, okay, you just scalped your time. But if you got more than a tick or two profit, I think that's not a scalp. That's a trade. You know, I don't know. I look at it as a trade. And again, it's just over the years, I just feel like it just denigrates the amount of effort it's taken to get to where I am now. And sometimes I still trade 1 and 2 points at a time. And, you know, over the course of a day, it adds up. That's all I can tell you. So,
hey, Ben, as I hold for 10 points, I feel like I got scalped.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know, you lose 4 points and you know, that hurts. But anyway you can make a profit that works for you.
Right. Yeah. Caesar, no, there's no offense in any of this question. It's okay.
And I don't take offense. If somebody wants to use that term, that's great. I know I'm pretty much a polemicist, and in my life I kind of go against the grain about, you know, like I'll ask questions. I'm sort of play the devil's advocate or whatever, but like I just like you hear me oftentimes say I don't like the word test, you know. Just I have an issue sometimes with language. If I don't understand where it came from or what it means, you know. I never felt like the market goes to test the level. Like, okay, we're gonna have an exam, boys. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't like that word. But anyway, if I make it back to like sort of what I was saying about why that trade to that guy in said it's South Africa.
Alessandro, he didn't say where he was from. He just didn't understand the reasoning for it.
So this is the market profile in ones, and I drew a circle here in this volume, I guess you'd say divot or, deficit area.
Low volume node, whatever you want to call it.
We had a lot of time in there. We had a lot of time in there. The volume is really thin. Well, now we're down here, and we've got the volume point of control down here, which is the purple line. And so the market tends to, if you're gonna, let me do this. Let me split it off. Let's say about here. Okay, so now you've got, I didn't have to split it that high up. Let's see. Now you've got this distribution, your bell-shaped curve, right? But we were getting up towards this extreme, Now, one thing to bear in mind, though, this is what I was kind of wary for, looking over my shoulder, is that all of these shorts here coming into the end of the day, the smarter traders got on board or were the ones pushing it, whatever, they may be wanting to just get out. So they're hitting buy and getting out, and this could roll back up to the close or the prior low a day or something. So that was the risk, but the odds were we were gonna come up to these highs and hit the stops or whatever, and maybe fall back down, right? Which is what happened. So I hope that's helpful. That was the idea of the trade. One other thing, let me merge this back and then look at my normal profile. There's something else I think I want to share about it. Okay, so here's the overnight low as well. Okay, let me split it out. We weren't that far above it, and this was just a move in. So anybody who's short down here, they might have their stops in here above this high.
Of course, right above there.
Yeah, so this just seemed like another visit, even if we were going to go higher, maybe another visit down here to the overnight low or to these gray areas come from a different chart, which is just a simple regular trading hours volume profile for the whole contract. And I mark off these areas where there's been acceptance. And those are helpful too, because they're trading ranges, right? So a lot of times it'll move back and forth between those ranges. And it takes some, again, these are my methods that I use, but they help me sort of dial in the odds base of probability of something, And I'm really good at finding entries and that kind of thing, but every once in a while I just totally mismanage a trade. So that's really where I'm at with things.
Well, that never happens to me, Ben.
Well, I hope it goes away. I tell you what, when I was, I don't think you're that much older than me, but when I was, there was this pastor guy I knew, and he was in his 70s or whatever, and I was in my 20s and something, and it's like trying to live a clean life and stuff, and I'm like, does this, because you like the age, I mean, I do, and so I'm like, does this feeling ever go away? Because it just bugs me all the time, And, guys in the 70s, nope. And I was hoping he'd say, yeah, when you hit about 35 or 40, you won't be that interested. Didn't happen. Sorry, that's TMI, but
that's all right. That's all right. All right, we're gonna call this a session. Ben, thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you for the good trades. As Greg, I know you didn't get to say much. Keith, thank you very much for joining. It was great to hear from Joe. Thank you all for joining today. We got Make HOAG Money tomorrow morning again, right after the market prep. So we'll look forward to seeing everybody there. We're going to be doing a market reflection here in just a few minutes after the end of Make HOAG Money. And I look forward to seeing anybody that wants to come. Thank you all for joining us. You guys are all family. And like Joe said, that's the most important thing in life. So let's keep working together. Let's keep getting better. And we're, of course, always looking forward to your success. Trade well, everybody.
Thank you.